Morning.
Joining us this morning, we have Justin Ijeh. Morning, Justin.
Good morning, people.
Good to have you. Justin's at Justin Ijeh on Twitter. And then we have the judge himself, Judge Ike on Twitter. Ikemesit. Morning, Ikemesit.
Good morning, should we?
Yes.
hmm
Yes.
One, two, three, go.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday.
to you. Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
dear
happy
Ikemesit.
Ikemesit.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you.
Alright, so today is his birthday and he decided to spend the morning with us.
Third straight birthday that I'm actually spending with you guys.
Oh,
I'm freshly
really?
pressed.
We
Yeah.
feel very
We love you
honored.
back.
We love you back. All right, Lagos, if you'd like to send in messages, you want to react to the stories, or perhaps you just want to say happy birthday, Kemesit. Thank you for all that you do for us. Then send to WhatsApp 0809 and on Twitter.
At Smooth 90 Western part of Nigeria, in the restive state of Borno. And in reactions to this, I saw another publications this morning that the governor of the state was throwing, not I won't say throwing tantrums, but was really upset and blaming the military for their inefficiency.
Yeah, in many ways. I mean, attacks like this are partly a result of a change in the military strategy towards dealing with the threat of Boko Haram. What noting that this attack was reportedly carried out by one of the factions of Boko Haram, faction that is loyal to Islamic State. That's Islamic State West African province, ISWAP. Now, the strategy over the past year and some months is that the military has which they've closed a lot of their smaller base camps. They have more people, right, than the countryside,
Mhm.
right? We concentrate most of our military resources on protecting those areas. While that has been largely successful, you now have a situation where in a lot of these smaller towns and villages, right, dotted across the northeast, you know, it's literally open season, right, for the insurgents. I was talking to a colleague yesterday, and um the overall numbers, right, in the decade plus that the insurgency has happened in the Northeast, something around the range of 36,000 people have been killed, right? And so, in absolute terms, it hasn't been that destructive. But the really problematic element about the insurgency is that upwards of 2 million people, actually, the International Organization of Migration says at least 3.1 million Nigerians are internally displaced. Those people are moving to other parts of the country, mostly urban areas, which is putting pressures on already scarce resources in those places. And that is it's creating an insecurity feedback loop because obviously paucity of opportunities will lead to more people who have idle hands, and obviously there will be an uptick in crime. That has been the really deadly consequence of this insurgency over the past 11 years.
Thank you very much, Kemesit. Emma from Akoka says there are fewer things that makes my skin crawl than leaders playing politics with human lives.
Mhm.
How can you say these insurgents have been degraded when they are actively attacking soft targets? And then he goes on to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you, MI.
Thanks so much, Emma. Sheon says it's quite funny and sad at the same time. Someone called the Boko Haram attack after Buhari made a statement about having defeated them last week. We really, he's saying that our choice in leadership is really sad about it.
Mhm.
All right, thank you. Please keep your comments coming in through from WhatsApp to Twitter and of course on YouTube as well.
All right. Our next story, this one from Punch newspaper. China sends coronavirus treatment guide to Nigeria. Justin, in this story, they said that the Chinese government sent an official guide on treating coronavirus to the Nigerian authorities as the death toll reached 908 on Monday. We know we have Nigerians, in every part of the world, especially China, doing business. Because of this scare, we have experienced in the past week increased efforts by authorities to screen passengers coming from Asia and some other parts of the world, really, for this. With quarantine efforts and this new move by the Chinese government, how do you see Nigeria? I mean, comparing it to the efforts of the Nigerian government, and based on the healthcare, what are your thoughts, please?
Well, there's been quite some effort on the part of the government, but I don't think those efforts are being communicated as loudly and as effectively as they should be. I just happen to have some back channel information about what is actually being done.
Yeah.
What China has done here is being ground zero for the novel coronavirus outbreak. So, a bit of a background to this: the coronavirus is simply a new strain of a family of viruses. The novel coronavirus that we're dealing with now is actually in the same family of viruses with SARS, you know, and
The common cold.
the common cold
MERS.
and all of that.
Yeah.
They usually pass from animals to humans. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what they've done is put together a guide for preventing and controlling the outbreak that everyone is currently having to deal with. I wish that we had a lot more public engagement on this side of the pond.
Yeah.
Remember growing up when we had this kind of issues, you would get jingles in multiple languages, in Pidgin, in English, in Igbo, in Yoruba, in
Doing
Hausa.
public service
The
announcements.
airwaves will be blanketed with this.
Mhm.
That's what I would love to see, because truly I get the creeps when I hear, like I did yesterday, that travelers inbound to the country are saying that the engagement they're getting at the airport doesn't seem to suggest that we're being quite serious with this. But I do know that as of my last international trip inbound November, there were thermal scanners at the airports. So I don't know, but there was some buzz and some chatter yesterday about people saying that they were not scanned with those thermal scanners. I don't know what that's about. But the government and the agencies involved need to do more with communicating to people what we're expected to do. How do you know when someone is showing symptoms? Okay, my driver was coughing 2 days ago, and I told him, look, be like, say I could drive myself or something. You know, so what are the things that we need to look out for? You know, wash your hands and all that, but let's do more. Let's do more.
I need to do more.
Thank you very much. I think about the lack of information from the government or from authorities is that then people start to peddle rumors. I'm sure many of us have received forwarded messages on our WhatsApp phone as to one coronavirus has been discovered here. It is really, because that's where we then cause panic amongst the citizens.
Or worse, if you take ginger, this one, that one, that one, that one,
so
that
we
one, that
need
one,
to
to prevent.
keep people informed.
You need to control the narrative.
Exactly, control the information. Thank you.
So some of the more common symptoms is everybody gets a fever, temperature spikes in all, but 2 out of 138 patients. I remember yesterday Chata put some statistic to it, said 1% fatality.
Yeah.
But as compared to Lassa fever, for instance, that we've been experiencing longer than we had of coronavirus.
Yeah.
Lassa fever has a higher fatality.
Yeah, slightly higher.
Rate, yeah.
SARS was
fatality
deadlier.
rate, yes.
So something else I just wanted to point out. The reason why, despite so Lassa, for instance, has a 6% fatality rate is because the Western media make a lot of noise about coronavirus because it's affecting them. We have issues that are deeper than coronavirus, but we don't make it seem as if it's a big deal. And so it seems like coronavirus is something that, oh my goodness, when we have even deeper issues here in Nigeria that we are not making noise about. So we need to start to inform people and take our lives seriously.
Still goes back to Justin's call on sensitization, jingles, PSAs, and all that.
Yes.
So let's go to the story from Premium Time. Nigerian government agency implements dress code for visitors. They said that. Why are you laughing?
It's hilarious.
The Corporate Affairs Commission is the agency we're talking about. They've explained why they set the dress code for customers, so it's not just staff, on its premises. So if you're visiting the CAC as a customer, effective 10th of February, yesterday, all customers at the premises, at the Commission's premises, and to transact business must be corporately and decently dressed from Monday to Thursday every week. How do you define corporate dressing, Ikemesit?
Oh, well, the CSC defines it as it's here somewhere.
No, I'll ask you first.
Oh, me. Okay, so I don't think I'm the relevant party here. This is the CACs here. Meanwhile, when the CAC talks about customers, it actually means lawyers, because the vast majority of people that go there to transact business on behalf of their clients are lawyers. So the CAC is implying that lawyers have been, to put it nicely, elegantly dressed. The spokesperson for the CAC said, when you dress properly, it's either you're in full traditional wear, which was why Friday was exempted, because Friday is the day when most people wear traditional dresses to the office, or you're wearing a trouser and a shirt tucked in. She in this case was referring to the men. She said they have had situations where people come in wearing torn jeans, mini dresses, bomb shorts, which I think
When
is
you say she,
which I think is the exactly
spokesperson.
the spokesperson of the CSE, which I find highly unlikely. And I know I have adventurous colleagues, but
let's assume that some scatterbrained person decides to wear ripped jeans and a t-shirt
How
to
does
go
this-
and register a business at the CAC.
Okay.
What is this woman's problem
I
with
find
that?
I find it hilarious. Okay, so back in the day when I lived and worked in Abuja, I have gone to the CAC wearing jeans. I have gone to the CAC wearing three quarters. This almost feels like a personal attack, but
Triggered.
away. I will miss debate. Yeah, but away from that, I don't see how this materially affects the business. She compared this with appearing in court, and to my mind, there's a stricter code of conduct with respect to going to court, right? You are going there to interface with a constituted authority, in this case, a judge. It makes sense for it to be properly attired. If you're just going to push papers, or in these days where she goes later in the statement to say, "Oh, we do a lot of things electronically," I think the dress code is
maybe that's you reacting
immaterial.
as a legal luminary, based on the fact that there are certain
How am I
dress codes
supposed to
that you're
react?
to the court. But probably, maybe it's possible. It's probably a branding move, right? Where you have the corporates before the other names in the commission. Corporate Affairs Commission, so they decide to lift the corporate and
This
apply
you're
it to the dress.
playing
sense.
devil's advocate.
I'm just
sometimes
As he is wont to do on
you
Tuesdays.
just fast forward your ticket
Indeed.
to where the devil is actually.
So you guys can go and
You
chill
guys go and
together.
hang out together.
Yeah.
Listen, so let me be clear about something. You insinuated she's speaking to the lawyers who do most of the. What is that actually what she's doing, or it could be interpreted? Because I would imagine, yes, a lot of people contact lawyers to go to the CAC on their
Yeah,
behalf.
but you can do it yourself.
But I can do it myself.
You can actually do it
so
yourself.
this position
Yeah.
affects everyone who has anything to do with the CAC, right? And I
So
just
do
think
you think this operates to put a bar on other people who
she's
do criminal?
majoring in the minors.
Shirt and
That's-
trousers
because the
everywhere now.
concern, I think the concern should be a bit. What do I know though? But the concern should be on.
It's a pain registering a business with the CAC, even online till today.
So which
Focus
is my
on
point,
that.
Justin. The focus shouldn't the focus be more on making it seamless, making
Service
it-
delivery
making
by
the
the
process very, very easy, so that you can actually register online
Yeah.
in 5 minutes
This
or
is
less.
how it
So
begins.
so they boast about doing that, but like I was pointing out to a couple of people yesterday, the way we integrate technology into our official processes is that it
Yes.
in effect
Yeah.
operates to create yet another bar, yet another step for you to skip. So you go to a typical government office, they tell you, or go to the bank and get a code, or go to this other office and get a code, then come back and you still have to file
Yes.
physical
There's
papers.
always-
You
there's
still
a
need to be
reason why
physically
that
there.
human interface.
If you make everything
is-
electronically, I tell you, ma'am, people can sit down in their underwear in their houses and register their businesses, and we wouldn't care the worst
Ijeh
about it.
on WhatsApp shares your sentiment. Says it's a shame that the CAC is focused. What the CAC is focusing on. Why can't people register online so that the saints at CAC will not see corruption?
And
And
sin.
then Lukman says that some of our leaders are stuck in the past. Dress code in a public place. Maybe someone should remind her that it's not her home. Aptly said, majoring in the minor. And then Waji says CAC hashtag CAC dress code, and this is the ease of doing business, right? Joker, all of them. And then Opemi Pray says dress code. Do you also write names of noisemakers? This is a joke.
Oh, because it's quite noisy there. I mean, we will soon start regulating noise
So
at
here's
some
the thing
point.
I'm thinking about now. So what would happen to someone who shows up and is not compliant?
Oh.
You get the mopol at the gate to throw
bounce
them
him,
out.
yeah.
Let's
or-
just put it this way. That exchange might go viral.
Well, Joe is the only one. Well, Joe, one of the few people who says, guys, stop trying to find the rationale. Dress formally, QED.
It's hard.
Somebody released the book.
Mr. Fashion Police.
Talking about fashion police. Somebody released the book and wrote about Abacha coup, taking us back in time, maybe giving credence to the the bank account that keeps giving. Abacha coup, how Obasanjo, Yar'Adua were framed. Farida Waziri made this publication, and I'll just quickly jump to your thoughts, Justin.
Not anybody.
Yup.
She's had a long career in public service. She's a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
From the police force, she became the head of the EFCC, and she has released a tell-all about the famous phantom coup during the Abacha era. That's the coup that landed Ijeh in prison, and also the late Sheikh Musa Yar'Adua, not former president Yar'Adua,
Yeah,
his elder
his
brother.
elder brother.
Yeah, the head of the Yar'Adua dynasty, who unfortunately died in prison in 1997, December 8, 1997. Abacha was bent on having his head and Obasanjo's head as well. And Mrs. Waziri has given us a behind-the-scenes look at the intrigues played out.
So who did she say frame them?
She said they were free.
You know, she was in the legal team, right?
Mhm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Set up
she
on
was.
Abacha then.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
served on the legal team, the prosecution team, and she's basically saying here that guys, things were not quite what they were made out to be. Witnesses were found to have been given false evidence. In fact, she mentioned in one of the passages here, it says that one of the witnesses was actually later imprisoned for telling lies. Summary of what she said here is, when it came to Obasanjo's case in particular, they found out that evidence had been manufactured and all of that. And on a certain evening, they had concluded, in Yaradwa's case, on a certain evening, they had concluded that, listen, we can't prove anything against this man. It's clearly fabrication. And so let's just charge him for treasonable felony instead of treason. I think treason, Ike, help me here. Treason is the full weight.
Yeah.
Treason gives you the full weight of repercussions. Treasonable felony is a bit of a lesser sentence, potentially.
Yeah.
So they
It is.
decided that the charge against Yaradua would be treasonable felony. And then they came the next morning and orders from above said, no, treason. So he had to go to jail for treason, where he eventually died. Obasanjo was saved by the bell. Or no, saved by the apple. Because when Abacha chewed the apple. Right.
Justin, I have a few questions.
I'm not the one who wrote the book.
I know. I mean, even generally.
But then there wasn't saved by the apple in the book.
So generally, the first thing is that you've mentioned that someone died whilst incarcerated due to false evidence or false witnesses against him. That's one. Will they have the right to sue at this point? And maybe Ikemesit can also come in as well. And then the second thing is that do you not see this playing itself again? Because in today's Nigeria, we have noted a few personalities who have been charged for treason or treasonable offenses. And it's quite reminiscent of what happened during Abacha's time. Unfortunately, years later, when destroyed lives. We're now coming back to hear that it was all a lie. It's really unfair. So please, I'd love for you to see any consequences.
And to add to that question as well, can you sue a present government that's in a different administration? For instance, now we're in democracy. Can you sue a military era? Can you sue a government based on what happened during the military era?
Honestly, jurisprudence is very divided on that. To your first question as to whether you can sue, the question will be who, right? So was this order carried out as an official order of state, or was this carried out by interested elements within the government? If it's the latter and you could find those individuals, you could sue them in a personal capacity, or you could get the states to do that, right? But if it's the government, it becomes trickier because we're a democracy now, and the presumption is we do things differently. But then, to the second point that you said, this brings us to the second point that you said, right? When you look at what happened with it was happening with Sambu Dasuki, right? Abajalingo as well. We're not at this point. Okay, so let's just make this clear. We're not saying the government is, fabricating stuff to secure a conviction, but the fact that they are in custody on charges which a lot of people find questionable, and the government, through the prosecutorial services, has elected to ensure that the wheels of justice grind slowly and as painfully as possible. It does raise those questions as to whether we've learned the lessons from the Abacha and the military.
And by Farida's admittance, can she be sued as well?
In
vicarious
to the extent where in the end they returned the guilty conviction, right, on charges on treason. They were sentenced to death. They were awaiting their fate, by firing squad. And then, like you said, whatever it is that you said, because I'm not going to repeat it. That happened. Yes, she, one could make a case that she has some questions to answer.
We have some other unanswered questions for General Ladipo Dia retired.
Of course, I was going to mention that. Indeed.
There is a library of, if you want to go there is a library of unending open questions about things that have happened in the past.
All right. Thank you very much. I would really be interested in reading this expose or this confession by That was Ziri. Let's move on to our next story here. This one trended yesterday. Almost everyone was talking about it. The headline reads from Vanguard newspaper: with $500 million loan, NTA will compete with CNN. So this is how I found out the story. I went on Twitter. Okay, what's trending in Lagos? I saw number one, Lai Mohammed. I was like, what has happened again? So I went to look for the statement he'd made, and I saw a big argument on this. Yeah. I'd love to hear your take on this. He said that the Nigerian Television Authority will compete with the likes of cable news network CNN if his ministry can get the $500 million loan it requires for the upgrade.
Do you want to go? Do you want to go first? Because I feel like I'll lay the facts and rant, and you just rant. So let me start with the facts. The point is, go with you. Yeah, I think Lai Mohammed has demonstrated a fundamental misunderstanding of how the international news business goes. If anyone is going into the news business thinking there is a lot of money to be made, you really need to think twice about this. I mean, I was doing this just last year. CNN International announced that it was going to reduce its programming, it was going to cut staff that was based in London to reduce costs. CNN International is losing $10 million a year. Sky News, which was founded in 1989, only started to turn a profit in 1992, and it had good years and bad years. Of the international cohort, of the international press core, only the BBC, but it is subsidized by the bureau, they've been able to maintain just the size of their staff and the depth of their reporting, right? I don't know what Lai Mohammed thinks the NTA can do. Have you guys watched NTA International ever?
I mean, leave the TV station or the station on one side or the network on one side.
Yeah.
Talk about the minister who's putting himself so many times than not on a platform of doubts, on a platform of incredibility. I mean, people look at him now when he says something. Even a child questions and probably mocks him.
I mean, this guy literally said at the beginning of last week, he told Deutsche Welle, right, that he had no idea that the social media bill was anything.
We saw that.
Right. So
it was sad to see.
Why this is problematic for me is that this has already been appropriated for in the loan request which the president has made to the National Assembly, which is why Justin and I would repeatedly say, go and do the research, go and look at these things. If Lai Mohammed did not single this out, I highly doubt, unless maybe a budget highlighted it, right? I highly doubt this would have come to the front burner.
Yes. The questions playing in my mind are $500 million.
Yeah.
Numbers tell a story. What is the story behind this $500 million? Did you sit down and do a business plan for the NTA, how you want to digitize the NTA, how you want to monetize that digitization exercise, and how all the resources required amount to 500 million.
And then what happened to the last digitization effort that was made?
This is not the first time.
I can tell you for free that it's a lot of vacuousness in play. People just open their mouths and whatever comes out comes out. Why? Because our ability to hold them to account has been severe, in expectation that when this loan is approved, there will be largesse for the boys, right? $500 million. And look at, let me read out a quote from. You can imagine the kind of let me start from. In 2014, we made $23 million from music alone. Who is we? And 53 million in 2019, and we look forward to making 83 million in 2025 from music. Who is we? What are you talking about?
Because not government making the money.
Tax revenue to the.
Who is watching NTA? I mean, I don't think it's
an
argument.
Question.
I do think, just like we have the BBC, we should probably have that question about should we go for privatization, that we shouldn't really be focusing on that. But the conversation continues. Let's move on to the next story, and I'll come to you for this one, Ikemesit, and that is that Southwest governors are to sign a Motekun bill to law on February 14. This statement was made by Governor Kaide Fayemi of Ekiti State, saying that they will simultaneously sign the bill to law by Friday. So almost like a love gift to the Southwest, being coinciding with Valentine's Day. Please take us to the story.
Well, you can't say that our politicians don't do the homework in terms of actually true is another conversation.
You know what my fear is? Yeah. You can do the right thing.
Man. You can say judgeiyke on Twitter. Yeah. All right, Lagos, we'll go on a break now. When we come back, it'll be time for us to talk entertainment, gist, review songs in the Grapevine 981. This is Smooth 98.1.
The headlines. The story.
As in, I know there's no promotion. Come on, man. Are we still streaming?
Audio was very bad on last week's video.